Good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Iori Folari. It's raining almost the proverbial cats and dogs in Lagos, southwest of the country, where we are broadcasting from, just in case you're watching us from abroad. But even if you're not watching us from abroad, from up country, you need to know because it just might go and be sunny and shiny where you are. It is what it is in Lagos. Okay, on to serious business now. Where one of the major items in the news yesterday, of course, was coming out of Benue State, where this bandit, criminal, terrorist. Maybe I should just put alleged in all of that, just so as to be loyally and all of that. First of all, the army has confirmed the killing of this gentleman I'm talking about, Tewase Akwaza, alias Gana. He's been referred to in quotes as the most wanted criminal in Benue State. Now, quite a number of interesting things around that. No doubt all of you will know, well, most people will know who have been following it, that he also has been, this person, now deceased according to the army, they say they have deposited his corpse in an undisclosed hospital. He was accosted on the way to Government House, reportedly, to go and take advantage of an amnesty, the second in a series, as a matter of fact. First amnesty, reportedly, he reneged. Now he was on the way to Government House following a second amnesty to give himself up, along with some people. But the army has come in and has, announced that actually there was a gunfight, and as a result of that gunfight, this guy, nicknamed Gana, has now been killed. Okay, so we'll look into all of that. We'll hear from our correspondents. In fact, I don't know if we have a report. It would have gone out first on the news yesterday, but we don't. So what we'll do is that we'll nip across to our correspondents over there. That is, first start of, well, normally we'd like to speak with our correspondents in two places. Talking about Benue State in the first instance, and also Nasarawa State. They are neighbors. But let's start off with our correspondent in Benue State, Muiwa Okuato. Good morning, Muiwa.
Good morning.
Mayowa, I beg your pardon. Good morning, Mayowa. In fact, I can see two people there, so it's looking like we have both our correspondents. So maybe I can be saying good morning to you too, Godwin. A fine morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Yuri.
Good morning. Thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah.
Now, let me start with you, Mayowa, in Benue. I sort of cobbled it together, but one thing is certain: the army has indeed announced the killing of Gana. Is that a fact?
Well, according to reports from Nasarawa, it's true his killing has been announced by the army.
Yes.
And we've also confirmed that with our correspondents in Lafia.
Okay. Now, is there anything special or is there anything surprising about the killing, since the news was that he was actually on the way to make use of the amnesty provided by Governor Autumn, in other words, to give himself up, and he then, as the story goes, was apprehended, let me use the word apprehended, en route, and along with the chairman, local government chairman, they were taken away by the military, including the official vehicle. Could you take it from there, please, the way you know the story?
For correction,
Yeah.
he wasn't taken with the local government chairman. He was taken with the local government chairman's vehicle. Now, the thing is, the said person, Tewase Akwaza, have been on the wanting list for quite some time for fueling the killings of herdsmen, Fulani clashes. And now he has been granted amnesty once before, of which then he backslided, went back to his old ways. And now they've even put several ransom on him, looking for him. And that is why, even including the military, which different military groups comprising of the Operation Wild Stroke have been hunting him for quite some time with no result. Now the state government, in collaboration with the Security Executive Council, which consists of the army, the police, and every security agencies present in Benue State have come together to ensure they work out peace, and this include creating an amnesty program for the said wanted criminals, wanted militia group, and on surprisingly on their way, knowing that these security agencies are aware of this amnesty group being part of the Security Council, on their way to the government house down from Kasinala, they were intercepted, and then which even delayed the amnesty program that were supposed to take place. They were intercepted. Some of the militia group were taken by the military, and this included Ghana.
Reports say that when Gana came out of the bush, so to speak, and to give himself up, it was to, apparently it had been arranged, a group of community leaders, traditional people, and religious leaders. Can you comment on that?
Yes, well, information has been spread because this arrangement had been made since late last week. It has been made since late last week. So yesterday, being Tuesday, was a day meant to finalize it, and he came out from the bush with his men, coming to surrender. There are pictures of him kneeling down to these community leaders, community chief, and the rest, willing to surrender his weapon. He didn't come armed. He didn't come. He didn't come to attack anyone. He came to surrender, as said. And this is what I can say about it. And then
Okay.
we believe they said, according. Okay, sorry.
I wanted to take us to something you just said in that sentence, that he didn't come armed. But as you know, the army's statement is that there was a gunfight during which he was killed, and they also arrested many more gangsters, using the words of the army. And these have been handed over, or will be handed over, was the army statement, to the appropriate authorities for prosecution. But that, because I was going to ask, and you've already spoken about it, did he come armed? Was he still bearing arms when he came? Because the military say that there was a gunfight. So how could there be a gunfight if he wasn't armed? Do you? Maybe you're not the person, the right person, but you get what I'm trying to make sense of it.
Yes, I get you. I get your point. I get your point. But I won't say I can't disclose that part of the army's angle. But according to the state government, Benue state government, the governor disclosed that they were coming in a vehicle, which included the weapons they were bringing to surrender. And this is a statement the Benue state governor disclosed himself.
Yeah.
And on the way, somewhere around Boko, they were ambushed by the army. This group, few of them were taken by the army.
Okay.
And then.
Well, okay. You used the word ambushed. I guess the military themselves will be using the word intercepted. But maybe I could.
I would say that's what it was described as by the governor.
Okay, paraphrasing the governor now. In fact, we even have the governor himself. I don't know if we're going to be able to get hold of that. But Godwin, could I just see if I can speak with hello, Godwin?
I'm with you.
Okay. Could you add anything to the story, please? What can you add to this saga here from your end? You are the TVC news correspondent in Nasarawa. Mayawa is the guy in Benue. What can you add from your end?
All right, thank you very much, Jerry. Yesterday night, we received a call from the Nigerian Army Force Special Forces in Doma, here in Nasarawa State, that we should come over to the barracks in Doma, that they have with them the corpse of Ghana, who they said they killed. So when we got there, we saw for ourselves the corpse of Ghana, and the commander of the Force Special Forces, Major General Monde Ali, told us how Ghana was intercepted on his way from within Bese, Boko, and Makodi Road. He said Ghana was in a convoy with members of his group, who were also armed. There was a convoy of members of the group who were also armed. So the military intercepted them, and this they did with information they got, strategic information they got before Ghana got to that point. So they intercepted him, and it was a gun duel. And after the gun duel, they were able to kill him. And after killing him, they were also able to capture 40 members of his group. It's important to remind us that Ghana has been terrorizing Benue State, Taraba State, and other neighboring states in the last 5 years. And in fact, there were allegations that he was responsible for the death of the security aide of the Benue State government, although he denied it in one of the reports in one of the media houses. But that was the allegation against him. And so, in fact, at the point, the state government, that the Benue State government, placed a bounty, 10 million naira bounty on him, that whoever gets him alive will get such amount of money. That shows how serious he was being hunted, and the government were looking for him. At the point also, the police declared him wanted in 2017, following his atrocities and all the crimes he had committed. So the story earlier yesterday, before his death yesterday, because I personally saw his corpse, before his death yesterday, there was information in the media that the Ghana himself surrendered to the army after a meeting with some traditional rulers, religious leaders, and a local government chairman in Benue State. But with what the military version of the story, we are informed now by the military that it was as a result of a gun duel while Ghana was in convoy with his members of his group, and that he was killed.
Was he the only one the military said was killed, since you were talking about Ghana and 40 other people being arrested? Is it your information that he was the only one who was killed?
Yeah, from the information the Major General, that's the commander of the 4 Special Forces in Doma, gave to us, he said Ghana was the one who was killed, but 40 other members of his group have been captured, and they are with the Nigerian army.
So, and the reason apparently that I'm trying to deduce for this situation, that is he's being killed, as I think you have also said, is that there was a gunfight. But was he armed? I guess what can you say of that? If he came, and we've just heard from Mayowa that he wasn't armed, he came in peace. But if the military is saying there was a gunfight, then it means that we're getting two sides of two accounts on the same event.
Well, I can't confirm that he was armed, but from what we saw there, the military displayed some arms and ammunition that were recovered from the bandit, from Ghana himself. We saw AK-47 rifle, we saw den guns, we saw
charms,
a lot of ammunition there. In fact, we even saw charms, waist charms. We saw the waist charm. Even the commander displayed the waist charm, and then we saw his rings, the rings that they said he was using as a charm also. So some of all these things were displayed that were recovered from Ghana.
Okay then. Thank you very much, gentlemen. As I said, the governor also made a statement yesterday. That was on our 10 o'clock news yesterday, commenting on this whole affair. So where the story right now, you guys are waiting for more on the story, because the military has said that those 40 guys that were arrested in the engagement, I guess we should say, will be, the report that I saw was in the future, or future tense, will be handed over to the police for necessary action. Okay, so that's the situation we have with that one. I don't know how well we're doing with getting hold of the clip with Governor Tom commenting yesterday and giving his perspective on all of this. Do we have that? Well, okay, but what the governor had said, maybe as I'm speaking, they'll be able to tell us that they have it. What the governor, had said in the clip was very much what our reporters have said, that is extracting from between both of them, that he was on the way here, and that his convoy, the convoy that was bringing him, haven't spoken about him surrendering to community leaders and religious leaders. his convoy was on the way to Government House as arranged to conclude the amnesty that had been arranged, but that, and I'm really paraphrasing what the governor was saying in the clip just in case we don't find it in time, but that he had been intercepted and had been taken away along with a car belonging to the local government chairman, and that's where the governor stopped. So that's as much as we know about all of this. So Benue Militia confirmed killed. The army has owned, has owned the killing, that it did what it did, but it says it followed a gunfight. Other people are surprised that there was a process and it didn't reach conclusion. So that's that then. What we'll do now is that, I don't know if we, okay, if you, what we'll do is that you could call in if you wanted to say anything about the matter, comment on it, and not getting any calls in the next few seconds. We'll take a break, we'll come back, but know that you can indeed comment on the story, the situation, the way it is. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Okay, so we started off with the situation in Benue and the killing of a long-sought criminal that had been granted. In fact, the way the governor referred to him was the repentant criminal that had been expected. When that was why, yes, and as our correspondents had said, a lot of arms were recovered. Well, arms, never mind a lot. Arms, at least the ones we saw on video, what the AK-47s, obtained guns, charms. You can see some of them just in the background there that were displayed. Yeah, there were those. But how? Is there someone on the line? I can't hear what's going on. Benjamin.
Hello?
Good morning, Benjamin.
Yes. Good morning, Jerry.
Thank you.
For taking my call.
Benjamin.
I've just been watching the...
Sure. Go on.
Right. Just listening to the program, I'm not entirely sure which direction we're going. Because in the country, we're looking at issues about terrorism, banditry, killings, and inter-ethnic rivalry. Now we have a situation where somebody who is actually fueling these things has been killed, but the coloration that the program seems to be giving to it is as if something untoward had happened. We have somebody who actually...
Well, one hopes that the program is not putting any coloration on it beyond the mere facts.
So how?
The facts, as provided by official quarters, no coloration. The army, it is a fact, and it's been reported out there that the army has owned the killing of the criminal. It is also a fact that the governor was disappointed that the whole process hadn't been brought to fruition, to completion. No coloration from us as much as possible. We just try to put the facts out there. I'm so sorry to have interrupted you, Benjamin, but I just thought I had to jump in there. We're not putting any coloration on it. This is the fact. In fact, the army has said that it will be making a statement tomorrow, Thursday. But the preliminary statement is what we're able to glimpse from and as we have heard from our correspondents. So I just had to quickly sort of address the whole matter of coloration. We don't want to put any coloration on it. The coloration is just the facts, and that is colorless. Kennedy, good morning, Kennedy.
Yes. Sorry, I'm Kennedy. I'm calling you from Port Harcourt.
Good morning, Kennedy.
Sorry, Mr. Yorin.
Yes.
Something bothers me about this acclaimed or professed killing of Mr. Gana, the notorious whoever he is. Now, the question I would like to ask is, if Gana has been killed, and according to the military, 40 others of his gang members taken with him, so are they saying when they engaged Gana in a gun duel, his 40 other members, they took off so that it was just Gana that was gunned down?
You know,
that is one very, very serious question that the military needs to have. Otherwise,
indeed,
how can a gun member, a gang leader, be engaged with the military, and then none of his gang leaders, 40 numbers of them, is reported to have been injured in any form? Then it was just Gana that was singled out to be killed. the story of the military. As far as I'm concerned, it is not true. It's very possible the so-called Gana was being taken to surrender in the vehicle of the local government chairman, and then maybe they got the information, and so they trained him and then took him out single-handedly.
Okay,
and
Kennedy.
then maybe somehow they were able to get 40 others of Africans from wherever. See, one thing about the military, as much as they are doing to try to keep us safe, oftentimes when they provide information to the public, it will be very, very good and credit on their part if they provide the information the way it is.
Okay, Kennedy. Kennedy, could I just come in here? Thank you very much, Kennedy. I hear what you're saying, and indeed your opinion. You heard me ask the very question that is agitating your mind. I asked it of our reporters, and they did the best that they could. That look, that is the information that we have. But the military has said that it will be making a statement tomorrow, Thursday, on the matter. That is when we shall probably see a lot more clearly what this is all about. But the facts are as they are, and the military will be helping to clarify where clarification is needed when indeed they come out, when the army comes out tomorrow to give the statement that it has promised. So we're going to have to leave this now, for now, because there are other matters. And in this connection, we have Ambassador Olukani. Thank you very much, as always, for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me.
We always reach into the diplomatic community when there are these matters that you want to try and know.
And also he has DG Nasim as well.
Well, you always put that in, and I think it is allowed, because there probably is going to be a way that all these things are interconnected.
Yes, you're right.
Our president is also, visiting with Ecowas. Is a meeting at Ecowas. But I guess the big news is that the president of Ghana has indeed taken over the chair of Ecowas. Now, in these times, when we have all the situation that we do have in the sub-region, what does this portend in terms of normalizing relations with some countries that have sort of stepped out of line?
I do understand the point which you're raising. It's indeed. Thank you for having me. Here again. I think the first thing we should look at, in terms of the symbolic aspect of this development, in which President Nana, the Ghanaian, Akufo, is going to take over as president of ECOWAS very soon, is that this is very symbolic of the fact that politically, the whole question of succession within the democratic setup is very symbolic, and this is what we are having from one president of ECOWAS to another. And don't forget that the whole question and issues of tenure elongation is been rearing its head up again. So implicitly, West African leaders are showing good example by this development. And I think this is a very good development from that perspective, because there's been some problems recently as far as that is concerned. So at the level of ECOWAS leaders, the symbolic aspect of it, we should not lose sight of it. It is key, it is very important. We will look at the other side of the coin, which is the economic aspect of it. Because just as we have the ECOWAS leaders, we also have the Federation of West African Chambers of Commerce.
Okay.
And the current president of NASIMA, Hajia Saratu Ija Aliyu, she is also the president of FEWASI, Federation of West African Chambers of Commerce and Industry. Because when the political leaders are creating the atmosphere for peace, it means that the private sector itself can come forward to be able to do, because at the end of the day, we are talking about lives and livelihood. We are talking about the well-being of the people. It's of no use if political leaders are having good time. I mean, they are creating the atmosphere, and the private sector does not live up to it. And I'm indeed glad that FEWASI itself is also rising up to the occasion when the leaders, of course, are giving good example themselves. Practical aspect, I think, is very important.
Indeed, and to the point about not extending or elongating tenures. Our president has actually warned that this is something that...
that is very important, because you know, West African people, our leaders, our forebearers have invested a lot in the celebration to have peace so that we don't have the days of Sierra Leone, Liberia, and people facing the blazing end of the AK-47 any longer. A lot has been done in this particular area, and we must sustain it. And I'm indeed very glad this set of leaders are. So a few hints of possible elongation by some leaders, which is emerging again. I mean, Cote d'Ivoire and a few places. I think that is why the ECOWAS leaders say, look, hey, don't let us go back to these days. And I think that's one of the challenges before President Akufo when he takes over this time around.
Indeed.
And now he is now going to be the captain of the flight.
Indeed.
And when you are the captain of the flight, remember that occasionally we run into what they call CAT in aviation cycle, clear air turbulence. We see how he's going to handle it.
Indeed. Because, and I'm sure an important part of that is that he's taken over the chairmanship in a year that is also facing an election at home.
Oh, yes.
And it's a serious one because he will be contesting against a party that has beaten him before.
Well,
so it's like he's not going to be leaving anything to chance.
I think for ECOWAS, that is not going to be any much problem. If he succeeds, Roger, he continues as the captain of the flight.
Yes.
If he loses its country, the person who takes over, I don't think we should be worried too much about that in terms of what impact it will have as far as ECOWAS
the domestic election that
but like I said, the Federation of West African Chambers of Commerce is living up to it because that is the heart of the matter in terms of impacting on the lives of people. With the private sector playing a big role.
Talking about this private sector and business, the economy and all of that, Nigeria's border closure has been a topic of, a very keen topic among them. And there's a sense in which it's a sore topic also to some, even as Nigeria has advanced its reasons for doing so. How this topic can be addressed is also going to feature prominently, I imagine.
Yes, certainly. That's why I was saying that while taking care of the political aspect of it, in terms of security issues and other, the economic dimension of it and the issue which you've raised is also going to come forward as well. And it's an issue which, within the framework of FEWASI, it is also being taken care of in terms of how do we resolve this crisis. It's not a single bullet solution. It's something which we have to work on closely with the private sector, especially the chambers themselves. We in NASIMA also face it because there are some of our members who also export goods to West Africa who are also caught in this conundrum. And I'm indeed glad that the organized private sector of Nigeria is also made up of 5, NASIMA, NASI, NASME, NECA, and MAN, has also taken up the issue in terms of discussing seriously with government in terms of how to find a satisfactory resolution as far as the question of the border closure itself is concerned. And I'm sure this is going to be on the table for the new ECOWAS president when he takes over too as well.
And I imagine the president is traveling with, I think, quite a sizable team.
I've got the issues of Ghana, Nigeria.
Yes. All of those things will come to play.
Relation as well in terms of the Ghanaian, Nigerian traders in Ghana and other things like that. These are issues which, of course, will come to the table.
Still stemming from business matters, the commerce, the economy, is the matter of the single currency.
Yes.
That has also been a topic. Realistically, how far can we really go? I mean, the ideal is that we shall have a...
it is possible to do. It is possible, honestly speaking. And I'm indeed very glad that this came up also in the recent meeting in Niger, the extraordinary meeting. And the Francophone members who rushed on to say, hey, voila, we are now with the French, I think are retracing their step that they moved on too far because the ECU has stages and we are moving towards that. And it is a possibility, it is possible. It is possible. And that's why I think that's going to be one of the main things which the new presidency will also face. And if you watch what happens, I think our CBN governor was sort of on TV to explain that. I think those people who want to rush out and rush ahead of other members said, I think it's not possible for the locomotive to be discoupled and leave the wagons behind. You don't have a crowd behind you, and it don't make sense as far as the ECU is concerned. But I think it's nice thing that we are now back on track as far as ECU itself is concerned.
Let me sort of start taking calls, and I don't know, could I also make an appeal that we've come on to another subject? If you could find a way to keep your focus on the current subject, we'd be delighted. But nevertheless, Mazi Okorafo, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, the ambassador.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, you see, congratulations to Nana Akufo, the new Ecowas chairman. It's a welcome development. And what we have to look at is the trade between Ecowas countries. Right now, you saw what happened in Ghana between Nigerians and Ghana people. What was the clause the Ghanaian government were using was because of Nigerian closure of their border between Ghana and Nigeria. I pray our president must have solved that problem with the Nana Akufo, because it is not healthy for us. And you be in another country transacting your business, the same your neighbor under the spirit of Ecowas, that spirit of treaty, you'll be treating as if you are as a risk. It's not healthy. We saw what happened in America. The Black Lives Matters. What happened because of the killing? Now, we don't expect such things, because Africa is our own continent. Africa is our own territory. There is no other continent we can live and go that they will accept it or accept us. So, Ambassador, sir, how do you think, or what do you think the federal government will do so that this issue of African countries attacking Nigerians day in, day out will stop? Because it's not.
Okay. Okay. You started to break up there, but it's just as well. You put the question to the ambassador. What does he think can be done to sort of limit the perceived attacks against Nigerians?
Well, thank you very much, Mazi, for that question. And I think as a former diplomat who was also involved in a lot of negotiations and discussion, bilateral and multilateral, I said the most important thing is to keep the conversation on. And if you remember that recently, even after the spat between the two of us, there was a delegation that went from Nigeria to visit the Ghanaian president. And of course, a delegation also came from Ghana and were discussing with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as well as officials of the Ministry of Trade and Investment as well. That is the number one thing to do, to make sure that that is on the table. And I had also mentioned the question of the Federation of West African Chambers of Commerce itself, because at the end of the day, it is the private sector's operators who will, at the end of the day, have to sit down and discuss and negotiate with themselves. Mm-hmm. And that was why I was saying that the Federation of West African Chambers of Commerce has taken this issue up. I made mention of the national president, Ajay Saratu Yaliu, who led the extraordinary session. So a lot of discussions and others are going on behind the front pages of the newspaper, as far as that is concerned. Mm-hmm. And that is also meaning that taking the issue directly with the Ghanaian government. Okay. And that's why I'm saying that it is indeed a good development that the Ghanaian president is now coming in as the captain of the flight.
Indeed.
Because at the end of the day, as the president of ECOWAS, I mean, it would be contradictory and strange if your country is embarking on a process that is hurting other members of the sub-region. Okay.
Mr. George, good morning, sir. Thank you for holding on.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to the ambassador.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, then.
Danny, let me start by appealing to you to review your restricting us to one topic.
It was an appeal, but you...
Please reconsider it.
Please be brief, because I know you want to say something. Be very brief and then kindly go on to the next one.
Yeah, do that as it may, Uncle Yori. The president of Ghana has become the ECOWAS chairman now. I want him to seize it as an opportunity to stop what is happening in his country. I see xenophobia coming out from Ghana as it has been from South Africa. He should use this as an opportunity to ensure that what we are seeing does not degenerate. It doesn't speak well of a country like Ghana that has been very friendly with Nigeria to be doing for what we are seeing now.
Yeah.
So you should please please.
Exactly what the ambassador said. It will be incongruous.
Show that he can be a true leader.
Indeed.
So the other topic that you said before, I don't know why there should be a ceremony about a criminal dying. There is no dispute that this person has been a thorn in the flesh of everybody there. The way he died, why is it a problem now?
Well, I don't know. Maybe rule of law, you know, and all of that, you know,
Rule of law.
due
Why
process,
ceremony?
due process. Maybe those are the, you know, real issues. But thank you very much for calling in.
Well, I think the point which he made about the question of the Ghanaian president coming in and others, I think it's something which is quite of interest to us. And that was why I said that, you know, especially in terms of the private sector, most of us in West Africa now has identified the private sector as key and very important. But unfortunately, I don't think we're giving the private sector the attention which it deserves and areas to operate. And that was why I was saying that on their part, the private sector under the Frequency platform has decided that, look, listen, we must come. They've come out with a program of action in terms of COVID-19. So when you're hearing government is coming up with palliatives and others, the private sector within the region, within the framework of what I said here. And like I said, Haji Asatu Yali there was an extraordinary session, which most people may not hear about. But it is left for the private sectors in these places to key into these issues. And that's why on our part, as a national chambers, our counterpart in Ghana, the Ghanaian Chambers of Commerce too, we also, starting engagement with them to be able to take on these crises and issues as far as Nigerian traders themselves are concerned.
And it's interesting you bring this up because we're right in the middle of this pandemic. Even though people are opening up around the world increasingly, it can be tempting to think that the worst of it is behind us.
No, it's not over.
So one needs to be very careful. So President Buhari will indeed be he'll be addressing the body on COVID-19 because across Africa, figures are saying that there have been about 1 million cases and something in the region of 30,000 deaths or so, something like that. So it's quite an important issue, and this will be brought to bear. Our president will be indeed reporting to the body. In the meantime, Jalingo has called in. Good morning. Solomon from Jalingo. Good morning, sir. I think we lost Solomon.
Well, the point you made as far as COVID-19 itself is concerned, let us all be very, very clear with ourselves. COVID-19 is real. It is still here.
It is still.
And I was joking this morning that I have been running away from the TV studios of TVC. I belong in the age bracket of 65.
Yes.
Thereabout, and they say we should be careful.
Yes.
But on a serious note,
so much so that you can't go to church.
That is key. That is very important. We must remember that. Then the question of livelihood is also very important, and that is why that as the economy opens up, it is necessary for us to be very strategic in terms of how do we handle it. And that's why at the level of the National Chambers of Commerce, to NACIMA itself, we go closely with our members in terms of when you're opening up. This is key, this is very important. And like you said, President Buhari is going to address, Nigeria has also made contribution in terms of funds across the region. Because each country is trying to struggle with it. How do I deal with it? But regional effort is also going to be very helpful. Look at what happened within the EU in terms of number of money. And them members who are stronger than others come together, pull resources together because you cannot be safe alone in such a pandemic. You cannot.
You cannot. And
you have to.
And there are scarce resources, at least going by what our government is telling us to address this whole matter of palliatives.
Yes,
on top of all of this.
And the stimulus packages too as well.
And the stimulus package, those two are like twins. I'm trying to listen. Am I being told that? Do we have a caller on the line? Go ahead, Maxwell.
No, I want to contribute to the program presently.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Maxwell. Maxwell, you're on air, but you're going to have to mute the volume of your TV set, please.
Maxwell calling from Kaduna.
Yeah. Quench your television first.
Based on the present situation going around, and I just want...
Maxwell, the delay is too much. What I said something like 7 seconds ago, you're just hearing now. So it's going to be almost like an impossible conversation. And so that call has dropped. He wanted to speak about something. Please, if when you call in, I don't need to say this to long-time viewers, just mute the volume of your TV set, please, so that it won't interfere with what you are trying to say if you do get through to us. He was going to, I don't know what he was going to speak on, but maybe he was going to address this whole matter. And we were saying that between the palliatives and the stimulus
packages,
you know,
yes.
and we're being told that there are scarce resources, so much so that in our jurisdiction, in our country, you look at what has happened. Government has taken off subsidies, say we can't afford it anymore. We simply cannot afford it. Maybe, it's related. All of this is related, and no doubt when they come to meet together over there and discuss it, as you just said, no one person can really be safe alone.
Of course not.
It's going to have to be, something of a combined effort. But let me try Solomon again. Okay. Good morning, Solomon.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, yeah, you're through now. Go ahead, please, quickly.
Yes, I'm Solomon Abraham from Jalingo, Taraba State.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
I want to congratulate the new Ecowas president that is coming in. Hello?
Carry on, please.
Yes, I want to congratulate the new Ecowas president that is coming in, and I want to assure him of being a president to all African countries.
Okay, you want to enjoin him to be?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
He should treat everybody normal as. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Solomon. No doubt if he's hearing, I imagine the embassy people must be watching this. but this is, you
That's
go.
Good one. That's
yes,
a good one.
It's a very good one, enjoining the president to be, the president of Ghana, that is now the chairman of ECOWAS, to know that he has a team. He has a team that
Ghana
is all
was
of
the first
ECOWAS.
independent country in Africa.
Exactly.
So I think I will follow him.
So
too as well.
all of these things will no doubt. It's a fitting appointment, but it also brings a lot of responsibility.
Of course.
And especially in the light of relations at the moment that are not where they have always, they're not at the highest they have been.
Yes, and that was why I was constantly reminding that indeed this is going to be a big challenge to him, not only in terms of keeping West Africa on track politically, in terms of succession, in terms of elections, democratization, but also the economic dimension of it, which I've mentioned on. And I tied it up to the Federation of West African Chambers of Commerce. It will be very good for him to work closely, especially with the private sector within the sub-region, because they play a very, very important role.
And that's something close to your heart as DG of NASIMA.
Well,
that's very, very important. We have a call coming in from, I think it is Taraba State.
Right.
Andy. Good morning, Andy.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in.
I'm the first caller. I want to thank the Nigerian security for doing a very...
Andy, we lost you, but I don't think I'll get any prizes for guessing what you were going to say. You approve of, the situation in relation to the bandit, the alleged bandit that that the army has owned up to having killed. As far as you're concerned, you wanted, I believe, to thank the Nigerian army for stepping in on behalf of the people. I guess we'll leave it at that. The army itself will be making a statement tomorrow, we've been told. If they decide so, maybe they can even give it to us a bit earlier. But yeah, thank you very much for that. So, but that was our first topic, and we expect that those things will come through. Yeah. But in fact, we have another caller coming in from Abuja. Abuja?
Yeah.
James in Abuja, good morning, sir.
Hello.
Hello, James.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Carry on, please, quickly.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Yuri.
Good morning.
Yes. I want to contribute to the recent happenings in Benue State. Yes.
We're talking ECOWAS now, but make it very brief.
I want to know why only Gana should be killed and his over 40 of his men. Can you hear me?
Mr. James, I heard you loud and clear, and that you might find out tomorrow when the military put out their statement. That is a question that we ourselves have asked of our reporters. Somebody else has called in to ask the same question. The army is coming out tomorrow with a statement, and it'll all be clear then. Thank you very much for calling in. So, a lovely... Did I? You know, a lovely opportunity, especially for relations between us and Ghana. But not just that, also the situation, you know, of a coup actually coming up again when we thought we'd left such matters behind.
I think it was nice the Ecowas leaders quickly stood up to the coup plotters.
To rebuff all those efforts.
To rebuff that. Look, listen.
And insist. Yes, on a timely transition to democracy.
I think it was a good one.
We've completely run out of time, Ambassador.
We sincerely hope that from this new development, the private sector will also, of course, have come up to be able to play, given the due recognition within the sub-region. Like I said, I mentioned Fewasi, the national president of Nasima herself, Ajay Asatu Aliu. They held a special session. And I think the outcome of that extraordinary session of the private sector will be a very good thing for the new President Akufo.
Thank you very much,
when he takes over.
Thank you very much, Ambassador.
Thank you very much.
Look on DG Nasima and a former diplomat.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for having me.
So that's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. And remember, as we always say on the program, do all you can to keep safe. Corona is still with us, but you can do a whole world of good by keeping safe. I'm Yori Fulani. Bye-bye for now.